once again to the Movies and Stuff Show. Tuesday, 9 p.m. edition of the Movies and Stuff Show. We really did it, folks. We finally... Is that 2 in a row?
2 in a row?
2 in a row. Well, that's because... Well, no, we were a little bit late last week, right? Because...
late, but I'm saying Tuesday.
Tuesday. We hit the Tuesday. But this is Tuesday, 9 p.m. This is like our prime time original spot of Movies and Stuff Show. We were joined this week by Talia. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Taking your time out of your busy schedule.
Well, only problem now is that with Talia being on the show, we have no one in the chat. So.
No.
Yeah, our chat
what about Robert Melee?
Robert Melee might join. Yeah, he might join. Mike Vance, maybe. M. Vance, he might. Yeah, you know. There's Robert Melee. See,
there he is.
He's there.
Hi, Robert.
He tunes in for the first couple of minutes and then just lets it play out so we get the full view. You know, he doesn't watch half the movies that we talk about. Well, listen, everyone should go and watch the movie that we watched last week. You know, the Tremor 6. Everyone should go watch Tremor 6. And we're on a streak here, right? We got to figure out a movie. A 6th in the franchise to talk about next week as well, because we talked about Tremor 6 last week, Mission Impossible 6 this week, and now we need to find a third movie. Is 6th in the franchise.
There are 6 Fast and Furious.
Yes, there are at least 6. Yeah.
Transformers.
No, there's
6 Transformers.
Bumblebee might be the 6th one.
Well, you know what? It's not coming out next week, so that
doesn't help.
But I've never seen a Transformers movie, so it would fit perfectly in my repertoire of, you know, I've only seen one Tremors movie until Tremor 6, and I've only seen 1.5 or 2 Mission Impossible movies before seeing this one.
Both movies you catch up pretty quick to what's going on.
Yeah.
I told you, after I saw it, I texted Marty, and I think my exact text message is like, that damn mustache was so distracting. Because it really was that damn mustache on Superman. I couldn't get over it. It's like the mustache is ruining this movie for me. And I said, I enjoyed it. I had a fun time. And then, Marty texts like, oh, I finally saw it. Probably would have been a good idea for you to see number 5. And I'm like, no, I think they did a really good job of just catching me up. I think that's good, though. I think it's a franchise movie. And you can spend 5 minutes, just less than 5 minutes, less than 10 minutes even, whatever it was, catching people up. So if you're not familiar with the franchise, you can still go see this movie. I think this is the biggest opening that he's had in a Mission Impossible movie ever. I think this is the biggest one.
It was bigger than the last one. I know that, and the last one did well, too.
I think it was the biggest one.
And that's usually the case with these, but this was the first time that it was almost, like we talked about before, a direct sequel, where the cast was almost entirely the same, the villain was the same, the female interest was the same. And a lot of these movies, it's like almost Bond girls. They just rotate in women for no reason. And then this one was the same female lead, the same villain, like I said. So if you, like I said, and you didn't see it, they tell you in about good 5 minutes at the beginning who everyone is, so you're fine. But I was happy that I had gone back and watched 4 and 5. Not so much 4, but at least 5 before I saw this one, because at least I knew who everyone was and what the main gist of everything was going on was.
Yeah, and I told you I went back and I rewatched some of 5, after the fact, and yeah, you can say, they almost did like the Superman 1 and 2, where they it seems like they filmed it, a lot of it, back to back to kind of create some of them. Same director, writer, McQuarrie, right?
Yep.
Did both. We were talking about that right before the show. He kind of falls in line with the J.J. Abrams family of writers and stuff. But he's been working with Tom Cruise for a while now. I just ran through like a list of movies. He did Valkyrie. He did the 2017 Mummy. He did Jack Reacher. So he's worked with Tom Cruise on a bunch of movies. So they have a relationship there.
And it's interesting. We'll talk about this after movies, guess, because I mean, some of those you just listed off were bombs, and it doesn't seem to mess up the relationship. So
listen, I mean, Tom Cruise can afford to have a bomb, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard for me, with all the stuff that goes on with actors and how much you learn about their personal lives. Tom Cruise at one point in my life was my favorite actor, like in the early thousands, like Magnolia. Vanilla Sky. Like I was watching. What's the geez, I can't even think of the movie. The where he's playing pool with the sequel to
Color of Money.
Color of Money. I used to watch Color of Money like all the time. A Few Good Men, like that was my go-to. Like I loved Tom Cruise, and then in the mid 2000s and stuff like that, when the Scientology stuff started becoming so much information, it was information overload, and you started learning about him and just like it's like I can't like this guy anymore. I think he's transcended that to a degree though, because I didn't go into this movie and say it's like it's Tom Cruise, the Scientologist guy. It's like it's Tom Cruise. Yeah, to me, I still can disconnect him from he's an actor and I can disconnect him from his personal life. I think it's getting tougher and tougher to do that nowadays with some of the stuff that comes out with people. But for these moments where I watch Edge of Tomorrow, I love Edge of Tomorrow. I think Edge of Tomorrow is fantastic. Can't wait for the sequel to that. I can disconnect that and say, okay, he's not this person over here.
Well, I think with him too, you got so much now with all the the Me Too movement and seeing all that kind of stuff coming out about Johnny Depp and those types of guys. It's the fact that he doesn't have any kind of that on his resume.
Him
and he's still
like Scientology as a religion.
Yeah, Scientology. But he's still generally a likable guy. You see him in interviews. He hasn't had any kind of big blow up or any kind of that nonsense. So you see him, it's like, oh, and you tell he cares about these movies. He writes them all. He fucking still does all these stunts at 51 years old. So you still kind of root for him, and he's in a weird way.
How old is he? He's not 51. Look at this poster. Look at this movie poster. He looks like he's like 37. He looks like he's my age. This is not fair.
That's one of the things I want to talk about.
They did a thing promoting this, not promoting it, but like right when the movie came out, they talked about his age, and he was the same age as Wilford Brimley when he did Cocoon, and they put the pictures of them next to each other.
Well, I mean,
I don't know. Maybe Scientology's got something right.
It's so unfair. They show a picture of him and then the female lead from Top Gun.
Oh, it's not that.
It's not even fair that they do that because they're
she's not coming back for the reboot. That much.
I know. It's just like that's not nice. You shouldn't do that. Because I think she was a little bit older than him in Top Gun.
She was, yeah.
Anyway, let's talk about this movie a bit. Just general reactions. I said, listen, I liked it. I enjoyed it. I thought it was a fun time. I think one of my preconceived notions or what I've heard about Mission Impossible films is they can oftentimes be too convoluted. Like they're trying to do too much. They're trying to have the plot be a little bit more complicated than it needs to be. I felt that this was that nice balance where it had some of the twists. I mean, I predicted the quote-unquote big twist. It was so telegraphed early on.
I picked like 2 or 3 of them that they tried to do. I was like, oh, I saw that coming.
Spoiler alert, people. Superman's the bad guy.
Yeah.
They telegraphed that one so early on. But I don't think it ruined anything. I loved, we'll get into some of the twists but overall I enjoyed it. Talia, you saw it today? You went to go see it today?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. What did you think?
I liked it because I really liked 3. Because it had Philip Seymour Hoffman in it. I love Philip Seymour Hoffman, and he was a great villain. And I fell asleep during 4, and then 5 I had no interest in seeing because I was like, I can't watch another one. And then here comes 6, and the interesting thing was, it was it was Ving Rhames, Simon Pegg, and then Rebecca Ferguson. And no one else, and him and Tom Cruise. And I was like, oh, this is different. Then I saw the trailer. I was like, whoa, this is really different. Like, it was completely different from what I expected. And so my expectations were probably in the middle going to see this. So as I talked to you before, the opening scene when he's sleeping has that dream. I'm like, there's a lens flare. Actually, there's 2 lens flares. Actually, there's 3 lens flares. Okay. Did JJ have anything to do with this? And then sure enough, in the opening credits, I'm like, okay, here we go. Now I expect lens flare galore this entire film. And that's what it was, lens flare galore. But I really like the fact that Tom Cruise's character was very human. He kept saying, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, throughout the whole, I think he does all his own stunts, but I think that shows his character is able to get hurt, but not for a certain amount of time because when they were in Paris and he falls off of that motorcycle. I think he runs into the tunnel. He's limping for like 2 seconds, and then he just takes off running. And I'm like, okay, yeah, that's a little bit of the human, but yet he's almost trying to be like the superhero. But I have to say, I really enjoyed it. I like the twist with Simon Pegg and the villain Sean Harris, where they switched the mask. I thought that was clever.
Good.
I was like, oh wow.
Yeah. Simon Pegg had a couple of those good mask twists in this one. I'll get to my favorite one in a little bit. Yeah. Yeah, but Alec Baldwin dying, I was like, whoa, I wasn't expecting that one. Yeah, and I have to say the intensity at the end, trying to get that detonator, I was like, oh my God, is he actually going to make it or not? Or is this the last Mission Impossible? Like, I was like, oh my God. I was like, it was really like, I was in the theater and some people were like on the edge of their seats during that moment. I was like, just get to it. Simon Pegg was great during that moment too. Ving Rhames like, we'll do it at 2. Simon Pegg's like, no, wait till 1.
It was crazy, but I really enjoyed it. I have to say, it's the second best since 3. Yeah, I'll put 3 at the top, but then this one second.
How about you, Marty? You like this movie?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I mean, Tom Cruise still knows how to make a good popcorn movie, and this. If you get a chance, see it in IMAX or AMC Prime, because some of the shots, especially at the end, are just insane. When they're going over all the water and the mountains.
The helicopter stuff was ridiculous.
Just looked amazing. And it's really, there are parts of the movie that are just really loud, like in an intense kind of fun way. Some of the stuff you talk about as far as the twists were, maybe because I just seen 4 and 5 back to back going into it, I was prepared for those kind of things to happen. So I kind of were telegraphed a little too much. But I think they went to the mask thing one too many times. I thought it was a little silly. It gets a little silly at times. Even they kind of joke about how silly it is at some point. And then you mentioned the plot part. At the whole twist with Cavill and stuff. It got a little much for me. It's like, all right, so now who is working for who? Who's on what side here? Is the CIA behind it all? Is Angela Bassett's character in on it too? It was like they talked. There was a lot of talking in that scene. I was like, all right, what now? Okay. And like, I mean, Tom Cruise is fun. There was a lot of these. I don't know how I'll do it. I'll just figure it out as I do it. Kind of human stuff you were talking about is really fun. Ving Rhames is always great. The ones that he's not in as much are the ones that are not as good. I've noticed he wasn't in 4 that much, and that was probably the worst one. Simon Pegg was a little too much in the action. Like I hate when they turn the nerdy guy into then he can also do the fighting scenes too. It's kind of like, all right, I don't think that's a little too much. The action scenes weren't as over the top in this one as say 4 was. When you watch 4, it's almost like Fast and Furious level shit, where it's like the car crashes and flips 10 times, but they kind of walk away, or Tom Cruise falls out of the building, smacks his head, and just kind of like, shakes it and keeps on walking. So after watching that, I was like, oh, this is where this franchise goes. But 5 and 6 with Macquarie was a lot more, still crazy over the top, flying off jumping out of buildings. But at least in this one, he's like, all right, he stops and he at least looks nervous about it for a change. So you can tell Tom Cruise is getting older with this role, and he's embracing that. It's still good. And they had good callbacks to even the third one, with his ex-wife or wife or whatever you want to call it. They had the callbacks to 5 we talked about, so it wasn't just here's a Mission Impossible movie. We don't care whatever happened before. They're still fun movies you can just sit down and watch whenever. But at least they still care about what happened before, and they're still trying to make this thing make sense. So
my wife made a good point. I was talking to her beforehand.
That you're glib?
Yes, I am glib. She made a very good point though. Of he's now done this 6 times. Is it really an impossible mission? I mean, is it more just like mission kind of tough? I mean, yeah. it's not really impossible at this point.
Well, that's why I hope we'll talk about the beginning. Like, I was kind of hoping that they were going to go with it where they fail at first, because they show the whole fake bombs things and stuff. Yeah. I was like, for a second, I thought they went there. They went, because they've done that. You see that sometimes in kind of compare this to the show 24. Where crazy shit, every once in a while they lose, and a small nuke goes off somewhere, and it's not horrible, but
they blew up the Vatican, they blew up
Jerusalem,
like, all right. They blew up
Mecca.
And you can blow up non-U.S. things in some of these movies, and you get away with it. So I was like, but within like an instant after like a second of that scene, I was like, oh no, they're faking this shit.
Oh really?
I loved.
After like Tom Cruise and him did the good cop, bad cop thing. Oh yeah. I was like, oh, this is fake. I wasn't sure that it was Pegg in the Wolf Blitzer suit. I thought Wolf might have got a cameo and just kind of
Yeah,
working
me
on it,
too.
but I was like, oh, that's why I actually was kind of excited that they did something, different and actually let the bad guys win for once, but not, just to start the movie. But
so while we're at this, let's kind of just do a plot synopsis. I mean, it really centers on these three nuclear devices.
yeah,
It's not even devices. It's just kind of uranium like spheres.
they have the devices. They need
Yeah,
the
so they
uranium.
need the uranium. Um, Tom Cruise and his crew pretty much intercept them. They're about to get these uranium spheres before they fall into the hands of the syndicate. Um, Ving Rhames gets kind of ambushed and captured, and while they're trying to save him, the bad guys get away. So Tom Cruise's team's kind of taking a hit from who's the is it Alec Baldwin didn't care. What's her name? Angela Bassett, right?
Angela Bassett, she's the
So
new
yeah,
CIA head.
she's coming down on them, basically blaming them. So she pairs them up with Henry Cavill's character to keep an eye on them and make sure that they get these spheres back. So they go and they go to like a to this it's not a rave. I mean, it's kind of like
I'll call it a rave.
it's kind of a rave, right? This big party
Like a
where
secret party kind of rave. I don't know.
and then they have this bathroom fight scene, and I'm tempted. Let's Google search bathroom fight scenes because there's some classic ones, right? There's some classic bathroom fight scenes.
True Lies.
This is a damn good one.
Yeah.
This is a damn
Casino
good one.
Royale.
True Romance. Bathroom.
True Lies.
Well, there's True Romance as well.
Oh, True Romance too. That's
True Romance. James Gandolfini.
Yes.
Yeah. That's small.
Foot.
The Warriors. Warriors has a
Yes.
big bathroom brawl scene.
Love that.
Yeah. So I mean, maybe we'll have to do like best bathroom brawl scenes in movies, but great fight sequence. I think that was a hell of a choreographed fight sequence. Brutal.
Yeah.
You know.
Mirror.
Yeah, this is a brutal fight sequence. So then Tom Cruise has to play as if he's this bad guy, and he, gets involved with the brokering of these, spheres, these uranium orbs. From there, it kind of progresses to more flirting about that in order to, it's not money that the bad guys want. They basically want to trade these orbs to free the bad guy from number 5, right? Like,
Yeah.
So there's a prison break, not a prison break, an escape sequence where they're trying to escape him from like an armored truck, and of course Tom Cruise and his crew kind of go rogue, if you will, and decide their own plan to break this guy out. And all the while, you kind of get the feeling it's like, okay, everything they're doing is on purpose. If the guy's gonna escape, it's on purpose, and you start getting the vibe that Henry Cavill is a bad guy, and he tries to set up Tom Cruise. So great. He's a bad guy at that point when he goes to Angela Bassett and said, "Here's the cell phone. Here's the proof." And so the movie just moves on until it gets to the point where they're trying to stop the nuclear explosion that's happening. And Wes Bentley shows up. I love Wes Bentley. Wes Bentley's amazing.
Where has he been? Miss MIA.
Have you been watching American Horror Story at all, or no? You don't watch that?
Off and on.
He's great.
Yeah.
He's great. He's had a couple of great roles on American Horror Story. I love Wes Bentley. I think he's a hell of an actor. So to see him show up here as a little cameo as a doctor, I was like, oh, that's nice. Good for you, Wes. Get some money. Yeah. So that's the general plot synopsis. I think the scene that we're talking about is at one point they cause a car accident for one of the bad guys, and the bad guy's in the hospital. He wakes up and he sees that these 3 nuclear devices have gone off, and Tom Cruise looks broken at this point, and he's trying to get to the guy, and Ving Rhames is holding him back, and he's like, if you read my manifesto on the air, I'll give you the code to my cell phone so you can get whatever information because it's too late now, and kind of mystery box-ish, kind of a little too convenient, but cool. I liked it. And then when they reveal that it's the kind of stage thing goes up, and Wolf Blitzer comes out and he takes off the mask at Simon Pegg. I thought that was a great moment. I thought that was really fun. But yeah, great fight sequences, great action sequences. Overall, yeah, it's just I think everyone was having fun in this movie.
Yeah.
Ving Rhames enjoys this a hell of a lot more than being held by cops in his own house. I'm sure. Yeah.
I mean, who
He
doesn't?
gained a lot of weight.
Ving Rhames is gonna do Ving
Got,
Rhames. You know, he don't care.
got big. Got huge.
I didn't think Cavill worked in this role. I gotta say, it didn't ruin it for me. But
his
the idea
that ruined it. But
he's he's almost too much Superman at this point for me. So not that I can't see him in a bad role, but as far as like being a CIA agent turned, I guess he's somewhat of a mastermind behind it all. As you explain, it's like he just doesn't. He's a big brute guy. It's like the idea that he had some manifesto and kind of thought this whole shit out with some syndicate thing. It's like it just didn't work for me. I don't know.
It was fine.
It worked for me if it was Sean Harris, if it was his character, because, I mean, it's funny because Henry Cavill and Sean Harris are both British, they're both English,
Yeah.
but Henry Cavill's accent really bothered me a bit, and you know, like you said before, I think Sean Harris was more menacing than Henry Cavill. Just for me, it was like just the way, just how their character was written. It seemed like for me, Sean Harris's character was so menacing. It was like, oh my God, he's willing to die with the, you know, he's like, he doesn't care. Like it's over.
Yeah, and that was the kind of a part that was confusing. It's like, all right, was Cavill working for him or was he working for Cavill? It was just, was MI6 good in this? They were kind of, you know, fucking things up for their own purposes. It's like,
yeah.
Yeah, you know, valid questions, valid concerns.
Yeah.
I took it as the mastermind of the essentially Henry Cavill was mastermind of getting the other villain out of the you know, prison, right? So he wasn't running the syndicate. He's almost like an anonymous type guy that was involved with, you know, being a part of the syndicate that came up with this master plan, and people just kind of embraced it. You know, people in the syndicate says, okay, yeah, let's do this because it's going to free our guy. But I think ultimately, you know, the big bad was, you know, to decide once he's out to do what they're going to do with the nuclear weapons. Wasn't Cavill. I think then he kind of becomes second banana there. But you know, they pull the whole twist where, you know, the fight scene, they think they're fighting the bad guy, and it's not. It's just really weird knowing that Henry Cavill is the bad guy. And he's, you know, did he hire this guy to kick his ass? You know.
Yeah, those are the things where you look back and it's like, all right, did they even think about that?
So yeah,
it's fine.
It was you know, again, I think these movies are known for being a little too convoluted, and I didn't find this one to be too complicated to follow.
No, it's just it's actually. Oh. No, go ahead.
Go ahead. Well, no, I said this one was closer to the TV series. When you think about it, like the TV series is all about, you know, being, you know, the agent being an actor, pretending to be someone else and trying to solve this mission. And with the previous ones, I couldn't, like you said earlier, I couldn't follow it because the plot was so complicated. This one, the plot had like maybe 2 or 3 twists, but it was, I was able to follow it. And it was closer to the series because you realize he was going to be, what was it, Lark? Yeah. At that party?
John Lark.
I'm thinking, oh yeah, you're going to be this Asian guy? Well, I needed his mask, but I could just, maybe they haven't met. Okay, you're hoping that they didn't meet. I mean, it was like, I'll just play the part. I'll just think of something. I'll just do something. I was like, okay, he's willing to go that extra mile. And I remember watching old reruns of the show that they were willing to do whatever, you know, for that half an hour they had for the show. So I thought it was closer to the series than the other movies were, the previous movies were, in my opinion.
I think 1 probably had the most kind of campy fit to the series story. Yeah. So that's still up for me. I think 3 is probably the best one. I think 3. I go 3, 1, 5, 6. I think. And 5 and 6.
Like 5?
Kind of, well, 5 and 6 are almost a similar. You know, it's the same movie essentially. So you can kind of flop them if you wanted. It was kind of upsetting. It's the second blockbuster movie of the summer where Jeremy Renner is not in it, and no one says why.
That's gonna be the other point. Yeah. What's the deal with Jeremy Renner? Because he had a pretty significant role in 5.
Yeah, he was huge in 4 and 5. You know, he was a new guy essentially, and then he
He
really
was
fucked
trying to
himself
be.
by breaking his arms doing that stupid tag movie. And I guess he
Is that
caused
what
himself some.
happened?
I know he did do. I don't know if that's why he wasn't in the movie, but I know that did happen.
How ironic, because isn't the whole movie about him not being
He
tagged?
can't get tagged.
He
No.
can't get tagged, so he breaks his fucking arm. And that's really sad that he breaks his arm during a tag movie, and Tom Cruise is fucking hanging off a goddamn helicopter in this one. I mean,
And the cliff.
5 was the
And the
and the
building.
cliff. Yeah, he was doing like fucking cliffhanger
Yeah.
sequel at one point. Yeah, in the 5th one, he's hanging off that plane.
Yeah.
He's got that plane thing where it's just like holding on. Yeah. What's the deal? What's the deal with Renner? I mean,
there was choices in Avengers just to not have people in it. That was fine, but it was weird that he just again never meant this one. This is the one where it's like, all right, just a throwaway line about okay,
you
he's
think
back.
that he was like one of the Me Too people, like Jeremy Renner was not one of the Me Too people that I know of. People don't think I'm saying that, but it just makes it feel like that, right? Yeah.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
All he had to say was, "All right, are we bringing in this guy for this?" Like, oh no, he's back at headquarters or whatever. I don't know. Like they still in the Fast and Furious movies, they still even throw a line about Paul Walker to explain why he's not there, and he actually is dead.
Yeah.
But again, I guess it's also a weird thing too, where it's like every other one of these movies, it's like they have to convince someone else that IMF is still needed and necessary.
Mm-hmm.
Like 2 movies ago, Alec Baldwin was the one saying they need to shut it down. And it's like, oh no, wow, you guys are good. And then in the beginning of this one, and through most of it, it seems like Angela Bassett doesn't want them around anymore. And then by the end, it's like, oh no, I could see. It's like, come on. How many times does Tom Cruise have to save the world where you can just kind of say, all right, we need you on our side here?
Until he dies.
Maybe it's impossible missions for everyone else except for IMF.
There you go.
So, no, I like the crew though. I like how they get on. I like Simon Pegg and Ving Rhames and Tom Cruise and how they work together. I think it's fun. And you saw this in 5 when Tom Cruise is kind of in hiding, and they go to Simon Pegg, and he's got to do like those weekly lie detector tests, and he's like, he's not my friend. I don't talk to him anymore. He's completely bullshitting through these lie detector tests. You can see that they genuinely have fun making these movies, and
I think Pegg has fun in general with life. He doesn't seem to do anything he doesn't. He's in Star Wars and Star Trek. He's just.
I first I really noticed Simon Pegg. Everyone from Shaun of the Dead was but Spaced was
yes, that was
Spaced was kind of
that's where he started. Yeah,
started off, and and then one of my favorite things is and Marty, I don't know if you've seen this, is him and the other guy from Shaun of the Dead. They do it's Star Wars, where they do like C-3PO and R2-D2, and it's just like they're pretending to be them, and some places no, you're doing it wrong. It's supposed to be a series of bells and whistles, and the guy's like beep boop bop beep. Check out try to find that, because the costumes that they wear in that, I swear, like I want to do that for one Halloween. Like the costumes that they use are doable. Like I think I can patch them together, but they're so amazing. And I think that'd be hilarious. No, I agree with you. I think Simon Pegg at this point is whatever he gets to do. I like him in the Star Trek movies too.
Oh, I love him. Yeah, he's really good in Star Trek.
In the Star Trek movies.
Yeah.
In that last Star Trek movie, was really good, and was it Star Trek Beyond was the last one, right?
Into Darkness was the second one.
Yeah,
right?
Into Darkness is the shit one, despite Benedict Cumberbuckle.
Yeah, it's funny. I'm looking over the box office for these, and they all do fairly well. But they almost all. This opened the best, yeah.
Yeah, opened the best. Yeah.
But they all cap out at around a little over 200.
Domestic or U.S.?
Domestic or
domestic. International, because they do pretty well overseas.
Yeah, it does well overseas. Yeah. But number 2 made the most in America, and I think that might have been the reason why 3 didn't make it made the least.
Because think of the so the first one was this really fun, campy kind of great thing. Had some good action, had some good espionage, And then they're like, oh shit, look, John Woo's making action films. He just did Face Off and Broken Arrow. Let's have him do a Mission Impossible movie. And I didn't. If you're a fan of John Woo's style, you're going to really like Mission Impossible 2. I am not a fan of John Woo's style. I like Face Off. Face Off is a fun movie. Broken Arrow's, you know. But
Broken Arrow's fun just because Travolta's so, and Christian Slater and Travolta is just fucking. Just great, and Howie Long. So
Broken Arrow is Nicolas Cage. It's not Travolta. Face
Off
is Travolta.
What am I thinking? Arrow then.
Broken Arrow's Travolta.
Broken Arrow's Travolta. Yeah, it's Travolta and Christian Slater.
I'm thinking Con Air. Never mind. I'm thinking Con Air. Yeah. That's right. Broken Arrow's Slater. Yeah. So you know those are they're
fun, but
fun. So. John Woo makes big, loud action movies that doves fucking fly in, and that's what you can expect from a John Woo movie. And so people went to go see Mission Impossible 2. No, I'm interested. I think that's the biggest testament of this movie is I haven't seen a single one since 2, and it made me say is like, yeah, I want to go back and watch the rest of them now. I do.
You didn't see 3?
I haven't seen 3, 4, or 5. I've only seen parts of 5 now. But
they're pretty smart too, and they take decent breaks in between, like 3 or 4 years in between each one. So you're not, you don't get sick of them. When they come back, you can kind of be refreshed again. And again, it was really smart to put it out now, late summer. We're kind of past all the superhero shit.
Yeah.
It was like it's a really good it's a fun summer blockbuster.
Well, we know that they were filming it during the filming of the reshoots of Justice League. So. We know that.
I don't know, it just doesn't make any sense to me why they must have had just to stick up their ass about it.
Oh,
because
absolutely.
There's no reason. The mustache shit added
that's
little
the
to his
funny thing
character.
is like
it wasn't
that's
anything.
the funny fucking thing is they could have easily put a mustache on him as opposed to CGIing a mustache at that. And the scenes where you watch Justice League, listen. I've tried to go back. I've tried to go back and watch Justice League.
It's on HBO now. It's not a good. Not a good
can't. I cannot do it. It is like I've gone back and I tried to watch Suicide Squad. I can't.
Oh, that's a horrible rewatch.
I can't. And listen, I love Batman v Superman. I've seen Batman v Superman a bunch of times. I saw it twice in theaters. I've seen it. Whenever it's on, I'll catch some Batman v Superman. But Justice League is just terrible. And just the scenes where you can tell that they had the CGI'd out mustache is just like, it's just awful.
And it's just for no reason. It's just he wasn't playing a fucking old timey guy from the 40s when he had the mustache or something.
Nah, this is Paramount. Paramount put out.
Yeah.
Mission Impossible? Yeah. So I'm just saying, fuck you. It's just like.
I'm going to the studio tomorrow.
You going to Paramount tomorrow?
Yeah.
Did you get a chance? Did you see this over at AMC?
I saw it at AMC. Yeah.
Did you see the Aquaman trailer beforehand?
I did.
Yes.
It's a little bit.
Talk about that?
I felt a little better, just slightly better about it. Seeing it on the big screen.
I didn't.
I did not.
I didn't. Sorry.
No.
It's like, what is this Greek mythology or stuff going on under the sea? I like.
Plot-wise, I'm sure it's still awful, but I'm saying just the scope of it looks slightly better on a big screen as opposed to TV.
Yeah, it's interesting. I was having a discussion with my brother-in-law about this, and he's excited about Aquaman, and he's lukewarm about Shazam, and I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. Shazam looks great. I think Shazam looks awesome. It is big with superheroes. It looks so much fun. Aquaman though, yeah. I mean, I think some of the CGI, some of the backgrounds and stuff looked better on the big screen. Yeah. I can agree with you. Like looking at it on a screen as opposed to on my phone or on computer. I think it's gonna look better on the big screen, but it's not gonna cover up that shit plot and the terrible acting.
Oh, that's
badass. This is badass.
Redheads, gotta love them.
Redheads, gotta love them. Yeah. They just miscast it. I mean, honestly, I think the problem is, they chose they were trying to make Aquaman into a character that he's not, and they cast the wrong person to play Aquaman. He would have been perfect to play Lobo. I don't know if you guys know Lobo from the comics. If not, check him out. he would have been perfect. And he looks like Lobo. Like, he acts like Lobo. He would have been the perfect Lobo. He could, just so amazing. Lobo, he smokes cigars and he curses and he drinks booze. And this is the Aquaman that we're kind of getting. And it's like, that's not Aquaman. It doesn't, it's, I know you're trying to make him not to be the silly guy that talks to fish. I get that. But it's just not the right
That's
guy.
what Aquaman is.
That's what he does.
Can I say something real quick? Can I say something real quick? You've heard of Patrice O'Neill, the late great Patrice O'Neill. Patrice O'Neill, when he was on the Opie and Anthony show, he had a really good plot story for Aquaman. He said, if they make Aquaman like this, it will be great. And he was talking about a man that lives in the abyss of the sea, dark, scary, and he hangs out with the fish. That's crazy. He's like, if they did that, it would just be awesome. But of course, they're not going to do that because, we might scare children. No, we don't want to do that. We want it to be, everyone could go see this movie. So I was like, because the ocean is scary if you think about it. Like space.
It's not fucking Finding Nemo. Like Aquaman looks like. Aquaman looks like Finding fucking Nemo. And it's not that. It's certainly not that. My tonic is so far away. I can't reach my tonic.
That means
so
just
bummed.
just more gin.
I planned it poorly. I have the gin at my desk, but the tonic is so far away. I can't reach it.
Oh my God.
I would have to can't reach it. So I'm.
Oh damn!
It's a bummer.
In keeping
I might
with
have to end the show. This might be over.
Oh really?
In keeping with questionable superhero movies, did you see the Venom trailer today?
No, I haven't seen the new
yes.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it.
I don't know.
You don't know? Why?
I think
what?
He sounds a lot like he did in Bane. Where,
I can't understand him.
Yeah, so that's the problem.
But he's Venom.
So you finally see Venom speaking?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's like speaking to himself inside himself, so it's like he's talking, and then like you see a couple times where the screen splits and like he's half Venom, half Eddie, and it's just I don't know. I don't have high hopes for this one, I gotta say.
Speaking of Venom and Topher Grace, the Black Klansman looks like a fun movie.
And
yes, I can't wait to see that one. Can we review that one?
We should.
Did you read the story today? What he did?
What?
Topher?
He did a super cut of The Hobbit. And he cut it down to he took all 3 movies and cut it to less than 2 hours.
Topher Grace did?
Yeah, that's like his hobby apparently. He did the same thing with the prequels.
Good for him.
Okay.
I can get behind
that 70s show.
I can get behind a 2-hour Hobbit movie. I don't think I can sit for the other,
So can we rank the careers of the that 70s show people? I mean,
wow,
is Mila Kunis #1 at this point? She's
yes.
higher than
really.
It's got to be Mila Kunis. I mean, Ashton Kutcher was high up. He's got to be lower now.
Ashton Kutcher probably has the most money out of them.
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably. Is he above or below Topher now? I mean, I think relevance-wise, Topher might be a little bit higher now.
Topher has to do a lot to get past that Spider-Man 3 shit, though.
And now Wilmer Valderrama's in the news because of Demi Lovato, right? And
Wilmer Valderrama has a very good resume off camera.
Of dating women, you mean?
Camera, yeah. But he's dated some damaged ones. He had Lindsay Lohan.
Listen, he's had them all. I think he's a fucked up
had
person.
Them all.
I am convinced he's just a terrible, fucking awful person that's driving people to drink and drugs. I am convinced of it. Fucking Fez. What do you think you're doing to these women? You're terrible. Just stop it.
Like attracts like.
Yeah, Kutcher really doesn't do much anymore.
He's more producing.
He did. What was the last thing he did? Was the Steve Jobs movie, right?
The Ranch.
He did the bad Steve Jobs movie.
Did he do something after that?
The Ranch on Netflix.
And well, he stole money from CBS to do that 2.5 Men shit after Charlie Sheen fucked up.
That's right. He did do that. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what this Ranch thing is. That's on TV. He's done 50 episodes of that though. It's on Netflix.
Oh, yeah. That was the one with what's his name?
Oh god, yeah, with
Danny Masterson.
Yeah.
All wrapped up in Me Too stuff.
Me Too and Scientology is Danny Masterson.
Oh yeah, him and his brother.
Yeah. I don't know if you guys know the band At the Drive-In. But their last album, there's a song on it. It's all about Danny Masters and how he like pretty much like raped the lead singer's wife. It's terrible. Yeah, it's terrible. Like this kid is like not good. Yeah.
We got the redhead from that show is done Orange is the New Black.
Oh, she's Orange is the New Black. Yeah.
Yeah.
Laura Crepin?
You guys watch that?
Yeah. I tapped out after season 3, I think.
No. The new season just started.
Yeah, that just came back on.
I like it. I'm a fan of the show. I think it's good.
I thought it got
Jobs,
a little too much like Oz.
He did Annie, the movie Annie after
Annie.
Jobs.
Those are 2 massive bombs right there.
That's pretty much it. It's 2013 was Jobs. 2014. Yeah, he's not done much, but I mean, seriously, he probably got so much fucking money.
So much money on CBS.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Mila Kunis has a movie coming out this weekend too.
Yeah, she got a new
with
one coming out.
Kate McKinnon, some kind of funny spy movie. The Spy Who Dumped Me.
Not seeing that.
She's done okay.
And she's still getting Family Guy money. She don't care.
She still does Family Guy.
And Bad Moms was pretty big.
Mm-hmm. Bad Moms movies.
Not so much Bad Moms.
Well, she's married to Ashton Kutcher, so.
Yeah.
Kutcher was with Demi Moore for a while, right?
Demi Moore.
Yeah.
And Kunis was with Macaulay.
Yeah.
Really?
A lot of years. Yeah. A lot of years they were together.
Interesting.
The father from that one was the big racist from what was that Sam Jackson movie?
Which one?
Oh yeah.
Sam
McConaughey. Yeah. I love that
Time
movie.
to Kill?
Time to Kill.
Time to Kill. Yeah, he was the big.
The father
wizard.
from that '70s show was also the bad guy in RoboCop.
Yes, he was great.
He's fantastic. He is amazing in RoboCop. Bitches leave. I love it. It's amazing.
They also gave him a job on that ranch show, so I guess he's there as well.
Did they? Yeah. I like when he pops up. He's fun actor.
And Topher just got a bad reputation for being a dick too for a while. It seemed.
I've heard that.
Really?
I've heard that.
Yeah.
He was good in what was that drug movie with Michael Douglas?
Traffic.
Traffic. He was good.
Yep.
Topher was really good in Traffic.
Had one of the best monologues too.
Yeah, that was good. I'm looking at Topher Grace. Let's see.
He was good in Too Big to Fail, which is already 2011. I can't believe that was that long ago already.
Yeah. He was. Did he have cameos as himself recently in a movie?
That was
Ocean's 11.
Oh, was it?
Yeah,
Ocean's,
Ocean's 13,
Ocean's
I believe.
13.
No, 13.
I love
Maybe
the
12.
Ocean's movies. I think I've said that many times on this show.
He had a small role in Interstellar, which Dan still hasn't seen because he's awful.
Listen, Marty, put it back out on the big screen, and I will go see Interstellar. I've mentioned the story on the show why I have not seen Interstellar. I was going to go see it in the theaters, and then I had a chance to interview Stuart Gordon. So I interviewed Stuart Gordon instead of going to see Interstellar. And then when I couldn't see Interstellar in the theaters, I decided, I'm not going to see it.
But then you saw fucking Dunkirk on a plane, for God's sake.
You fucking put Interstellar on a plane, I'll watch fucking Interstellar on a plane.
Did you see Gravity?
There you go.
I haven't seen Gravity. No.
Oh, boy. Yeah. You have to see that on the big screen.
Yeah, I haven't seen Gravity. Listen, I haven't seen Avatar. I won't see Avatar until it's on the big screen again.
I haven't seen Avatar either.
I'm gonna do it.
If they ever do the second one, which they keep saying,
I'll never watch Titanic again. I saw Titanic on the big screen. I'm never gonna watch that again.
I watched it twice on the big screen.
That pops up on TNT every once in a while. It's whatever.
Yeah. I won't watch it. What's the point? Big boat.
Yeah. Okay. They all die.
That's almost in freaking remake territory. It's been so long now.
I hope not. No.
20 years. 20 years. It's 98, right? Do you remember?
Do a whole
they're remaking Big Trouble in Little China with The Rock.
No.
I'm like, what? Why are you doing that?
The Rock needs to work. He gets bored.
No, he doesn't. He has so much.
Listen,
I should be asking him for a loan.
I'm not a fan of like these comedy channel roasts that they do. But I saw the commercial for the
Bruce Willis
one, and someone's like, it's like, Bruce Willis is if you took the white part out of The Rock. I thought that was pretty funny. I thought that was pretty funny. Yeah, I'm not a fan of those roasts though. What's Bruce Willis doing?
They keep flirting with another fucking.
Oh, he's doing Glass, right? That's what he's doing.
Yeah.
Glass. That's next year.
Yeah, it's February, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And they're always fucking
Oh, he did that
Saying
Death Wish movie. He did the Death Wish movie.
That's so bad.
That was,
He's one of those conservative Hollywood guys who wants to,
oh yeah.
thinks he's being shunned, not because, it can't be that he makes shit movies. It's that, it's that the liberals are against him.
Really?
So Eli Roth did that.
Yeah, Die Hard Year One is announced, but nothing.
Die Hard Year One.
Prequel.
What, John McClane when he's a little boy? I mean,
is he gonna fucking do a flashback? Because I mean, he's not playing the fucking Year One.
Yeah, it'd have to be flashback.
Who are they gonna get? Who plays John McClane?
See if anybody's attached.
Channing Tatum.
No, it's just it's Bruce Willis, the only one attached. Nothing.
Topher Grace.
Topher Grace.
Ashton Kutcher.
No. Oh God, that would be horrible.
That used to be creepy back in the day. They would show pictures of like all of them together: Demi Moore, Bruce Willis, Ashton, and the kids.
That's terrible.
Whatever 20-year-old Bruce Willis was with at the time.
Oh, so terrible.
PR stunt. PR stunt.
Terrible.
PR stunt.
What else? You got anything else, Marty? What else? There's some news, right?
Much. We Christopher Robin's coming out this week.
Yeah.
Oh, I want to see that.
See that one.
Did you see the Robin Hood trailer?
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Robin Hood?
I don't know about that either.
Yeah, it's a kid from Kingsman. There's the new Robin Hood.
Kingsman meets Robin Hood.
Yeah, it looked a little too slick and stupid. I wanted to see the Russell Crowe Robin Hood and see where that went, but they fucked that up.
They need to make another Master and Commander movie. That's what they need to fucking do.
Oh.
If you're talking about Russell Crowe, another Master and Commander, please.
Well, Russell Crowe was supposed to be in the big monster universe, but that fucking bombed out with Tom Cruise and the Mummy.
Did they made two of those? Like two of those Universal movies, or just?
No, it was just that one, and everything else was planned. They even announced everybody was going to be in it. It was.
Well, that was a J.J. Abrams. That was one of his cronies.
Was it the Mummy?
Yeah.
It was awful.
Well, again, yeah, Macquarie wrote it, and then the director of it was the guy that directed Into Darkness, I think. What the hell's his name? Yeah. Kurtzman. Alex Kurtzman. Yeah.
As long as you hang around Tom Cruise, you can kind of have some bombs, and he'll just keep you.
Yeah, I think JJ's TV offspring, if you will, have done better than his movie offspring.
Yeah.
Because you get that Bates Motel got spawned out of J.J. Abrams. The Leftovers was one of his crew that spawned that. Yeah, they've had 4 or 5 shows post Lost that Lindelof and Cuse, Carlton Cuse and David Lindelof.
And speaking of Lost, they didn't know if you saw today. The Ringer did a big, one of those detailed fucking features they do. Top 100 episodes of the last.
That's what I want to talk about. Okay, so I know that Red Wedding was in the top 10.
But the Lost episode with what was the big couple?
Not Nikki and Paula.
No, the guy who was stuck there for a while, and Penny, was it Penny?
Oh, Penny, yeah, Penny and Desmond.
Yeah, that was. They said that was the best one.
The not Penny's boat one, or
the one where he calls
traveling
her
through time. Oh my God! Oh yes, The Constant. Was that it?
Yeah.
Oh
that's
my God, that's a hell of an episode. It's amazing. I didn't start watching Lost until that episode. I just turned it on and I caught that episode. I'm like, God damn, I gotta watch the show. I was hooked at that point. But then, seriously, I had a coworker at the time, and he lent me the box sets, the DVD box sets, and me and Aaron just kind of like binged. This before like Netflix and whatever. We just kind of binged through Lost, and we caught up. And we were able to
I must have. I think I don't know. Forget how I watched. I know I binged a bunch of it, but it must have been DVDs.
Yeah, it had to be.
Because nothing was streaming back then. Yeah, The Constant. That was the season 4, episode 5. They said that's the best one.
So good. Such a
they get Mad Men episode was the second one.
Any Breaking Bad episodes?
Oh, Breaking Bad.
Not as many as you'd think, actually. Game of Thrones, the Red Wedding was number 3. Number 4 was True Detective with the one with the tracking shot. Remember that one?
Oh my god, fucking awesome.
Yeah. First season True Detective was
Guys,
insane.
by the way, Jin.
Got it. There you go. I kind of like the listen that they didn't just stick with the dramatic ones. They did reality shows. They did some comedy stuff.
Comedy shows, yeah.
So Chappelle's Rick James episode was number 5.
That was the best. Yeah.
Number 6 was the season 3 finale of The Wire, where they kill Stringer and Avon at the same time. Not kill Avon, but he got arrested and Stringer gets killed. Number 7
I'm not
was
listening. I haven't watched The Wire, so
number 7 is Survivor episode, so that's funny.
What is Breaking Bad?
Number 8 is the Pine Barrens episode of Sopranos, where they're
yeah.
They got to find the Russian out in the woods. Out in the
that was hilarious.
Yeah.
I haven't seen The Sopranos, but I know that episode.
Oh,
what the hell?
No Sopranos or Wire. You've had HBO.
I
Don't
did
you
not
live in Jersey?
listen, I didn't have HBO for the longest time. I caught up with Deadwood. Listen, I caught up with Deadwood.
Deadwood's
I watched Deadwood. I watched Carnival. I caught up with Carnival.
Yeah.
I watched Rome.
Rome was spectacular.
I watched Spartacus, which is not HBO, but I rewatched. So I've caught up on several TV shows when I was gainfully employed from home. When I was self-employed, I was able to watch TV. Now that I have an actual job and 2 kids, it does not allow me to watch that much TV.
Number 9, they gave
You're
to
lucky
the
I
pilot.
I got out to watch this Mission Impossible movie, Marty. Come on.
I can't. What? You didn't go Tuesday, tight ass Tuesday, $5 tickets.
There you go.
See, that's the problem. Is our show.
That's our show is
on
Tuesday.
Tuesdays.
Tuesday in the morning.
See, I was going to say is we should probably move our show to Wednesday so we can watch cheap movies on Tuesday. What else is on the list?
Number 9 was the pilot episode of the OC, which I never watched. OC was pretty big back in the day.
It was, but the pilot episode?
Yeah.
I'd put the pilot episode of Lost up there, too.
And then 10 is Breaking Bad, season 5, episode 14.
Which one's that called?
Ozymandias.
Oh my god, yes.
Yeah.
God damn. Some good stuff.
That was directed by Ryan Johnson.
Yes, it was. Mm-hmm.
And
you forget that he kind of got his way on Breaking Bad.
Yeah. Grey's Anatomy is 11. I still love that show. Number 12 is probably one of my favorite episodes of all time. The West Wing, 2 Cathedrals. It's just Martin Sheen and Jed Bartlett in a church screaming at God in Latin. It's beautiful. Jersey Shore, season 1, episode 1 is number 14.
What?
The Office Dinner Party, directed by Paul Feig, is 16.
Dinner Party.
Oh, here you go, full circle. Number 17 is the Tom Cruise interview on Oprah, where he jumps up on the couch.
He's in love with Katie Holmes.
Now who's with Jamie Foxx? Good love. Friday Night Lights pilot, number 18, great show. Justified, I never watched that one. It's on 19.
I've wanted to watch Justified, because that's got Walton Goggins in it.
Yeah,
love Walton Goggins. And
Black Mirror, I don't watch, but that's
you don't watch which
number
one?
20, season 2, episode 1. Starring Haley Atwell and Donald Gleason.
Oh yeah, that one, yeah. But that wasn't the best one, no.
See,
Gilmore Girls, Veep, 30 Rock.
Gilmore Girls. Is that Gilmore Girls? That's no. I'm thinking Felicity. Is that J.J. Abrams? Right.
A couple of J.J. disciples on here though. You got Buffy from Josh Whedon, number 25.
He's not a J.J.
He's not. Okay, you know.
No,
I was thinking
Whedon was his own dude. Yeah.
Battlestar Galactica, coming to number 29.
Who directed that one?
Michael Reimer. Number 30 is a fun
saying,
one. Another full
Ronald
circle.
D. Moore, #synergy.
Number 30, Punked, episode 1.
Is that the one with Justin Timberlake?
Yeah, I think so. That was funny. Let's see what number 100 was. Walking Dead, pretty much dead already. Season 2, Episode 7.
Season 2, Episode 7. I can't remember that one. Man, Walking Dead. Not doing so good.
No.
Did you watch it? You ever watch it, Marty?
No, but you're one of many people I know that gave up on it, so.
Yeah, no, and I gave up way longer than I should have. Like, by season 3, I probably should have bailed out, and I think we made it to, like, season 5. I think I deserve an award for making it that far.
What season are they going into now?
9, I think.
8?
Is it 8 or 9?
Oh, 9.
Yeah, I think it's 8 or 9.
Yeah, I think the wife gave up after 6, I want to say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I gave up after 3. Yeah.
Yeah, season 9 starts in October. Yeah.
Wow.
It's too many. I love it's of course it's not a great episode or television, but number 79 on this is True Life. I'm a Staten Island Girl. Which,
what?
I'm sure was hilarious.
Where's the first Rick and Morty episode? In the 40s? Control F, Rick and Morty.
Number 44.
What is it?
Season 2, Episode 4, Total Recall.
Oh, Total Recall's a good one.
They describe it as Where's Waldo on acid.
That's a good one.
Silicon Valley. They do some MTV's The Challenge episode for number 42. Oh yeah, Dexter.
Right. Check out this list.
Fun stuff.
It's
The Ringer.
Yeah.
We haven't. Yeah, we like to do lists. So it hasn't been a good list discussion in a while.
Well, we don't have good list discussions in general.
It seems to be a consensus good list as far as Lost and Red Wedding at number 3. I mean, you can't do much. That's pretty solid.
When's Game of Thrones come back out? I think they said April of 2019.
Yeah, we should probably, once that comes out, we should do week to week, considering it's the last season.
Listen, with Robert Melee, I used to do a Game of Thrones podcast. We had a Nintendo version of the Game of Thrones theme song.
Wow.
We were the Pointy End podcast.
Wow.
I think we went for a full season.
Yeah, I was an avid listener.
It was a good show. It's a good show.
Wow.
Robert Melee is too busy for us. He's too busy. He does lots of stuff. He's still in the chat, maybe. He probably tuned us out at this point.
I'm sure he's technically in the chat.
Maybe.
But I'm sure his physical body is nowhere near.
Hey! He's still listening. He still is. He just likes to see me drink gin. It's one of his best things to watch is me just drink gin. There's 2 types of gin drinking Dan, by the way. This is the good one right now. So.
Oh God.
Talia, thank you so much for joining us. Always fun to have you. Gotta see when Black Klansman comes out.
Yeah.
See if you can have
2 weeks.
For that. Is it 2 weeks? Yeah.
2 weeks.
Check that out.
Cool.
It's a cool one. Cool. So we'll close out another episode of the Movies and Stuff Show. Please make sure to like this video, subscribe to us here on YouTube, follow us on Facebook and Twitter at Movie Stuff Show. Where else on Instagram? I don't do a ton on Instagram. Talia's on Instagram. I see some stuff from her on Instagram. So find her on Instagram too. It's just the real Talia Price, right? You're the real Talia Price on Instagram. So you do that. Let's figure out something to do next week, Marty. I also want to plug. Let's see. What is the name of this this podcast from?
That's going to be the Gin.
Jamil and
Jamil and
Amanda.
And they're doing their own comic book thing.
Yes.
Hopefully they'll have us on one day.
I'm going to look it up to see what
it was in. I put it in the description of our last.
Week? Okay.
Yeah.
It is called the Comic Book Club. So you go to comicbookclub.libsyn.com. You can check them out there. I love Amanda and Jamil, and they're always cool when they're on the show together with us. I've been pushing for them to have a show for a while. I think they have a great dynamic, and they have passion and knowledge of comic books that far superior than my love and knowledge of movies and Marty's love and knowledge of movies. They actually know their stuff of comic books. Me and Marty just pretend to know movies. It's true.
We're good on stuff, though. We know stuff.
The stuff, listen, the stuff we got. We got the stuff. We're good with the stuff. The movies, you know, we should just call ourselves stuff and movies.
Because you don't watch any movies.
Not anymore. Not anymore. I used to. Listen, I can do a movie show back in the early 2000s when I was seeing like 5 movies a week, like that. I can do. You know, early thousands. You take early thousands, Dan. No, he's an asshole. You don't want that.
Big Tom Cruise fan, early 2000s.
You don't want that guy. That guy's a piece of shit. Screw that early 2000s. So anyway, hey, have a great night, everyone. Thank you so much. Everybody. Bye.
Bye.